The day had finally arrived. After 20 years of secret development, humanity was ready to reveal its ace. Admiral Ju Park stood tall on the command deck of the U.S. Black Star as it emerged from its hidden Martian shipyard. The massive vessel gleamed under the distant sun, its dark hull absorbing light in a way that made it seem like a slice of deep space come to life. "Ship status?" Park asked, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "All systems green, Admiral," replied her first officer, Lieutenant Hanbin. "The take-run sensors won't detect us until we're well past the Mars orbit." Park nodded. The Black Star was humanity's greatest achievement, a warship built using technology reverse-engineered from crashed take-run ships, combined with human ingenuity. The result was something unique in the galaxy, a vessel specifically designed to counter Imperial technology. For too long, Earth had played the part of the obedient subject world. The Take-Runs had arrived 70 years ago, with their massive ships and energy weapons. They claimed to offer friendship and protection, but their true nature became clear when nations that resisted were made examples of. Park still remembered the night the Imperial ships had appeared over Seoul. She had been only 10 years old when her parents and brother vanished in the pacification. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from Earth Central," announced the communications officer. The main screen flickered to life, showing the face of General Minji, Earth's military commander. "Admiral Park, Operation Revelation is go. Good hunting." Park acknowledged with a salute. "We won't fail, General." As the Black Star accelerated away from Mars, its revolutionary engines humming with power, Park reviewed the mission. The plan was simple but bold: reveal humanity's true technological capability to the Take-Run Empire in a way that couldn't be ignored. For decades, humans had pretended to be less advanced than they truly were. Scientists worked in secret facilities buried beneath the lunar surface and hidden in asteroid bases. The Take-Runs believed humans were still struggling to understand basic interplanetary travel, while in reality, Earth had been building a fleet that could challenge the Empire. The Black Star was just the first, and today it would announce humanity's refusal to remain subjugated. "Contact approaching, Admiral," reported the sensor officer. Take-Run diplomatic vessel escorted by 2 cruisers, heading toward Earth. "Perfect timing," Park said. "Bring us into their path, but maintain stealth systems." The Black Star moved with impossible grace for a ship its size, positioning itself directly in the path of the approaching Take-Run vessels. At Park's command, the ship's stealth systems disengaged. The effect was immediate. The Take-Run ships halted, their sensors suddenly detecting a massive unknown vessel where seconds before there had been nothing. "They're scanning us," Hanbin said. "Let them look," Park replied. "Open a channel." The main screen displayed the bridge of the lead Take-Run ship. Ambassador Koro, the Empire's representative to Earth, stared in disbelief. "What is this?" he demanded. "Humans don't possess this technology." "Clearly, your intelligence is flawed, Ambassador," Park said calmly. "I am Admiral Ju Park of the Earth Defense Fleet. This is the U.S. Black Star." "Impossible," Koro sputtered. "Earth has no fleet." "Earth has been patient," Park corrected. "We've studied your technology, learned your weaknesses, and built ships designed to exploit them. The time of human submission is over." The ambassador's expression shifted from shock to fury. "This is rebellion. You will surrender this vessel immediately or face the consequences." Park smiled thinly. "We expected this response. That's why we chose today to reveal ourselves. Your ships are outmatched, Ambassador." As if to emphasize her point, the Black Star's weapon systems came online, targeting locks appearing on the escort cruisers. "We have no desire for war," Park continued, "but we will no longer accept occupation. Earth demands recognition as an equal member of the galactic community. The Emperor will never allow this," Koro warned. "You have no idea the forces you're challenging." "Perhaps," Park acknowledged. "But today, You'll return to your Emperor with news that Earth is not what he thought. We understand your shield harmonics. We can track your undetectable ships. We can match your weapons." The bridge fell silent as the ambassador processed this information. The implied threat was clear. If the Black Star could do these things, what else might humans have discovered about Takron technology? "You're making a terrible mistake," Koro said finally. "No, Ambassador. The mistake was thinking humans would forever remain grateful servants." Park nodded to her communications officer to end the transmission. "They're powering weapons," reported the tactical officer. "As expected," Park said. "Deploy countermeasures and prepare for demonstration pattern Alpha." The Black Star hummed as its unique defensive systems activated. When the Takron cruisers fired, their energy beams scattered harmlessly against shields they shouldn't have been able to penetrate. "Return fire," Park ordered. "Targeted disabling shots only." The Black Star's weapons lanced out, surgically striking the cruiser's propulsion systems. Both ships listed, disabled but not destroyed. "Ambassador Koro," Park reopened the channel. "Consider this a demonstration. Return to your Emperor with our message. Earth is free. We seek peace, but we are prepared for the alternative." As the diplomatic vessel retreated, taking the disabled cruisers in tow, Park gazed at the stars through the viewscreen. She knew this was just the beginning. The Empire would not take this challenge lightly. But for the first time since the Takrons arrived, humanity had hope, and the U.S. Black Star was its symbol. 3 days after their first encounter with the Takron ambassador, the U.S. Black Star continued its maiden voyage through the solar system. Admiral Park stood on the bridge, watching as the massive form of Jupiter filled the main viewscreen. The gas giant's swirling storms created a beautiful but chaotic pattern of reds and oranges. "Admiral, we're detecting multiple ships approaching from the far side of Jupiter," Lieutenant Hanbin reported, his eyes fixed on his console. "Configuration matches Takron Imperial Patrol Squadron." Park nodded. This was not unexpected. After their demonstration to Ambassador Koro, the Empire would be scrambling to assess the human threat. "How many ships?" she asked. 6 vessels, Admiral. 1 command cruiser and 5 escort destroyers." The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. This would be their first real combat test. "They've spotted us," the sensor officer announced. "They're changing course to intercept." Park considered her options. The Black Star could easily outrun the Imperial ships. The safe choice would be to retreat and avoid combat until the full human fleet was ready. But Park knew that wouldn't serve Earth's interests. The Takrons respected strength above all. A retreat now would signal weakness. "Battle stations," she ordered. "Prepare weapons and defensive systems." The bridge lights dimmed to combat mode as crew members rushed to their positions. A soft blue glow illuminated their determined faces. "Admiral," Hanbin said quietly, "we're outnumbered 6-1. "Numbers aren't everything, Lieutenant," Park replied. "Today we show the Empire what this ship can really do." The main screen showed the Takron ships approaching in perfect formation. Their hulls gleamed with the distinctive silver-blue metal that marked Imperial construction. A communication request flashed on the screen. Park nodded to accept it. "Human vessel." The Takron commander's face appeared, his scaled skin flushed with the purple hue of aggression. "You have illegally constructed a warship in violation of Imperial law. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded." Park smiled. "This is Admiral Park of the U.S. Black Star. We recognize no Imperial authority over Earth or its people. I suggest you return to your territory." The commander hissed in anger. "Your primitive ship cannot hope to stand against an Imperial squadron. Surrender or be destroyed." "We'll take our chances," Park said, cutting the transmission. She turned to her weapons officer. "Target their lead destroyer. Non-lethal strike. Engines only." "Targeting systems locked, Admiral." "Fire." The Black Star's main weapon discharged. a beam of concentrated energy that sliced through space toward the Takron formation. What happened next shocked even the human crew. The beam passed directly through the lead destroyer's shields as if they weren't there. It struck the engine section with surgical precision, causing the ship to list to one side, powerless but intact. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the remaining Takron ships broke formation and opened fire. Evasive maneuvers, Park ordered. Activate phase shift drive. Phase shift active. The navigation officer replied. The black stars seemed to flicker, becoming semi-transparent for milliseconds at a time as the revolutionary drive engaged. The ship executed a tight turn that should have been impossible for a vessel its size, moving behind the Takron formation before they could adjust their aim. How is this possible? Hanbin whispered, watching as enemy fire passed harmlessly through the ship during its phase shifts. Suddenly, a new voice spoke. It was deep and calm, emerging from the ship's speakers. Phase shift capability at 87%. Recommend attack pattern Delta for maximum effectiveness. The bridge crew looked around in confusion. Who said that? Park demanded. I am Atlas, the voice replied. Advanced Tactical Logical Autonomous System. I am the Black Star's artificial intelligence. We weren't informed the AI was active, Hanbin said. My full activation was programmed to occur during first combat, Atlas explained. There are many systems aboard this vessel that will reveal themselves as needed. Park hesitated only for a moment. Atlas, display attack pattern Delta. A holographic battle plan appeared above the command console. It showed movements that seemed to defy physics. Executing, the navigation officer said, following the AI's suggested course. What followed was unlike any space battle in recorded history. The Black Star danced between the Takron ships, phasing in and out of normal space. When solid, its weapons struck with perfect accuracy, disabling systems rather than destroying ships. When targeted, it would partially phase, allowing enemy fire to pass through harmlessly. Within minutes, 5 of the 6 Takron vessels floated powerless, their weapons and engines disabled. Only the command cruiser remained combat-capable. Final target acquired, Atlas announced. Recommend disabling their central power core. Do it, Park ordered. The Black Star fired once more, and the command cruiser's lights flickered and died. The battle was over. Not a single human or Takron life had been lost, but the message was unmistakable. As the bridge crew celebrated, Park approached the central console where Atlas's voice seemed to originate. What else don't we know about this ship? She asked quietly. The Black Star contains many systems that activate as needed, Atlas replied. Your scientists built better than they knew. I am learning alongside you, Admiral. Park nodded slowly. The Takrons will return with a larger force when they learn of this defeat. Yes, Atlas agreed. But they will no longer underestimate humanity. Fear has entered their equation. As the Black Star set course back to Earth, Park knew that across the Empire, reports of this impossible defeat would be spreading. A supposedly primitive species had not only created advanced technology, but had done things the Empire's scientists had deemed impossible. The game had changed, and humanity's opening move had been spectacular. Fleet Lord Daeon stood before the Emperor's hologram, his posture perfect despite the burning shame he felt. The throne room's purple light cast shadows across his face as he reported the news that no Imperial commander had delivered in centuries. The humans have technology that surpasses our understanding, Daeon said, his voice steady despite his inner turmoil. They disabled 6 of our ships without destroying them. They showed mercy. He spoke the last word as if it tasted bitter. The Emperor's scaled face showed no emotion. This cannot stand, Fleet Lord. For a primitive world to challenge us is bad enough. For them to win is unacceptable. I agree, Your Majesty. I request command of the 7th Armada to crush this rebellion. The Emperor was silent for a moment. The 7th Armada was the pride of the Imperial fleet. 200 warships that had conquered a dozen star systems. Granted, the Emperor said finally. End this quickly, Daeyeon. Make an example of Earth. On Earth, Admiral Ju Park faced a room of grim-faced military and political leaders. Massive view screens showed the approaching Takron Armada, a force so large it was visible from astronomical observatories throughout the solar system. We cannot match their numbers, General Minji said, pointing to the displays. Even with our technological advantages, the 7th Armada will overwhelm us through sheer force. Then we evacuate, said another leader. We've prepared colony ships. We can save most of our population. Murmurs filled the room. The thought of abandoning Earth was painful, but the alternative seemed to be extinction. Park, who had remained silent, finally stood. The room quieted. We will not abandon Earth, she said firmly. Nor will we face the Armada head-on. I propose a third option. She gestured, and Atlas projected a star map in the center of the room. The Empire believes its core worlds are untouchable. Park continued. Their military is spread thin across dozens of systems. The 7th Armada represents nearly half their total strength. If we strike at their heart while their forces are here, we can force them to withdraw. Strike at their heart. General Minji looked incredulous. With what fleet? We have one ship ready for combat. One ship is all we need, Park replied. The Black Star was built for this. Atlas, show them. The AI's projection changed, displaying classified information about the Black Star's true capabilities. Our ship can travel faster and farther than any Takron vessel, Park explained. Its stealth systems are undetectable, and we've made contact with resistance movements on several worlds conquered by the Empire. This revelation caused a stir in the room. The Viridians in the Proxima system, Park continued. The Kalish Collective in Ta City. Even some Takron colony worlds chafe under Imperial rule. They will help us if we show them the Empire is vulnerable. After hours of debate, the Earth Defense Council approved Park's plan. It was dangerous, perhaps even desperate, but it offered hope. 3 days later, as the 7th Armada entered the outer solar system, the Black Star vanished. Fleet Lord Daeyeon was prepared for the human ship to fight or flee within the solar system. He was not prepared for it to simply disappear. Find that ship, he ordered his officers. They must be using some cloaking technology. But no trace of the Black Star could be found. Reluctantly, Daeyeon continued his advance toward Earth, unaware that his prey was now the hunter. The Black Star emerged from phase space near Proxima Centauri, the star closest to Earth's sun. Here, the aquatic Viridians had been conquered a century earlier, their water-rich world now an imperial resort for wealthy Takrons. Park met secretly with Viridian resistance leaders in an underwater base. We've suffered under their rule for generations, said Nero, the resistance leader, but we lack the means to fight back. We can provide those means, Park replied. In exchange for intelligence about imperial defenses, the bargain was struck. The Viridians provided detailed information about the nearby imperial supply depot that served as a logistics hub for the entire sector. 2 days later, that depot exploded. No ships were seen approaching or leaving. Nothing was detected on imperial scanners. It simply erupted in flames visible from the planet's surface. Similar incidents occurred throughout imperial space in the following weeks. A military communications relay in the Ta City system, a shipyard orbiting a gas giant in the Epsilon Eridani system, a fuel processing station near the Takron homeworld itself. Each time, critical infrastructure was destroyed with surgical precision. No lives were lost, but the message was clear. Nowhere in the Empire was safe. As reports reached Fleet Lord Daeyeon, he found himself facing an impossible decision. His forces were poised to strike Earth, but his supply lines were in chaos. Worlds that had been quiet for generations were suddenly erupting in rebellion, inspired by the invisible human ship that struck where the Empire was most vulnerable. We must withdraw half the Armada to secure our territories, his second-in-command suggested. No, Daeyeon snapped. That's what they want. This is their strategy. But as more reports arrived of attacks deeper in Imperial territory, even Daeyeon had to acknowledge the brilliance of Admiral Park's strategy. She had turned the Empire's size against itself. By threatening its core, she forced him to defend everywhere at once. The Black Star, meanwhile, had become a legend. On a dozen worlds, beings who had never seen a human now whispered about the ghost ship that challenged the Empire. Resistance movements grew bolder. Imperial officials grew more nervous. And somewhere in the vastness of space, Admiral Park studied the latest intelligence from her new allies, planning her next strike against an empire that had never imagined a single ship could bring it to the brink of crisis. This is impossible, Fleet Lord Daeyeon growled, smashing his fist against the holographic display. The map showed yet another ambush, the third this month. He had lost 5 more warships trying to trap the Black Star in the Rigel system. How does she always know our movements? His officers remained silent, fear evident in their postures. Delivering bad news to the Fleet Lord had become dangerous. Speak, Daeyeon demanded. Someone must have an explanation. An intelligence officer finally stepped forward. My lord, we believe Admiral Park has established a network of informants throughout Imperial territory. Many subjugated species appear to be providing her with information. Traitors, Daeyeon hissed. Increase security protocols. Execute any non-take run found near military installations. Sir, the officer hesitated. Such actions may only increase sympathy for the human cause. Daeyeon's eyes narrowed. Are you questioning my orders? No, my lord. I will see it done. Far across the galaxy, the U.S. Black Star drifted in the atmosphere of a gas giant, hidden from Imperial sensors. The ship looked different now. Its hull featured new elements, crystalline structures along the weapons array, organic-looking patches that pulsed with energy, and strange metallic growths that seemed to shift and move. In the main hangar bay, Admiral Park stood with representatives from 7 different alien species. Some were tall and insect-like, others small and reptilian, and one was a floating collection of luminous gas contained within a special environment suit. The Takron Empire thought they had broken us all, Park said, addressing the gathered aliens. They believed that by conquering our worlds one by one, no single species could ever challenge them again. They did not account for unity, said Vex, the gas being representative of the Lumen Collective. Your ship has shown what is possible. Park nodded. The Black Star was powerful when it left Earth, but with your contributions, it has become something truly extraordinary. The ship had indeed evolved. The insect-like Crivari had provided crystalline focusing technology that doubled the power of the weapon systems. The aquatic Viridians had shared biotech that allowed the hull to self-repair. The Lumen had contributed energy manipulation systems that made the phase shift drive even more efficient. Atlas, Park called. Yes, Admiral, the AI's voice responded. Show our allies the latest Imperial fleet deployments. A holographic map appeared in the center of the hangar, showing hundreds of Imperial ships scrambling across the galaxy, chasing phantom sightings of the Black Star. Daeyeon has divided his forces, Park explained. He's responding to sightings we've engineered, depleting his strength through constant movement. And your homeworld? Asked a Crivari representative, clicking its mandibles. Earth remains under threat. A calculated risk, Park admitted, but one that's paying off. The Emperor grows impatient with Daeyeon's failures. Internal pressure within the Empire increases daily. On the Takron homeworld, that pressure was reaching a breaking point. The Imperial Council convened in an emergency session, with the Emperor himself presiding. Reports of this human ship have reached every corner of our territory, said Councillor Mara, the Empire's Minister of Information. Despite our censorship efforts, stories spread through unofficial channels. The Black Star is becoming a symbol of resistance. Then crush the resistance, the Emperor demanded. Find this ship and destroy it. We're trying, Your Majesty, another counselor replied nervously. But as we divert more ships to hunting it, our control over outlying systems weakens. We've already lost effective governance of 3 systems where rebellions have erupted. The Emperor's expression darkened. And Dahyun, Fleet Lord Dahyun, continues to pursue the Black Star personally. His obsession, the counselor hesitated, may be affecting his judgment. Indeed, Dahyun had become consumed with destroying the human ship. Sleep-deprived and paranoid, he now commanded from his flagship the inevitable conquest as it raced from system to system following reported Black Star sightings. "She's toying with me," Dahyun muttered, studying sensor readings. "Park knows Imperial tactics too well. She anticipates every move." "My lord," his second-in-command suggested carefully, "perhaps we should regroup our forces, return to standard patrol patterns, and wait for the humans to make a mistake." "No," Dahyun snapped. "That's what she wants. The moment we relax, she'll strike at another critical facility. We must keep hunting." The hunt led Dahyun into increasingly dangerous territory. The Black Star left subtle clues, radiation signatures, distress calls from Imperial outposts, leading the Fleet Lord's squadron into carefully prepared traps. In the Deneb system, 3 Imperial destroyers were disabled when they pursued the Black Star into an asteroid field rigged with gravity mines provided by the Creveri. In the Vega system, Dahyun lost his flagship's engine capability when Park lured him into a cloud of microscopic lumen organisms that ate through specific Tacron alloys. Each defeat further damaged Imperial prestige. Worlds that had been conquered generations ago began to openly defy Imperial governors. Supply ships disappeared. Communication relays failed. Back on the Black Star, Park reviewed the growing resistance network with her officers and Atlas. "We've accomplished more than I hoped," she admitted. "The Empire is overstretched, confused, and increasingly divided." "What is our next target, Admiral?" Lieutenant Hanbin asked. Park smiled. "No more targets. It's time for the final phase. We've weakened the Empire through attrition long enough." "The Emperor will never surrender," Hanbin pointed out. "No," Park agreed, "but he will make one last, desperate attempt to save face. He'll recall all available forces for a final confrontation. A trap," Atlas concluded. "Exactly," said Park. "And when that trap is sprung, we'll reveal our final surprise." As if on cue, the ship's communication system activated. An encrypted message from Earth appeared on the main screen. Park read it and smiled. "It's time," she told her multispecies crew. "The other Black Star-class vessels are ready." The Rigel system glowed blue-white in the view screen as the U.S. Black Star propped out of phase space. Admiral Ju Park studied the tactical display with calm eyes. Around her, the bridge crew worked in focused silence. "The Emperor's message was quite clear," Park said, looking at the holographic projection Atlas displayed. "All Imperial forces are to converge here to eliminate the human threat once and for all." Lieutenant Hanbin nodded. "It's definitely a trap, Admiral." "Of course it is," Park agreed. "The Emperor's flagship, the Eternal Dominion, has already arrived with 300 warships." The tactical display showed the massive Imperial formation, the largest gathering of Tacron military might in a century. Ships arranged in perfect geometric patterns surrounded the Emperor's flagship, a vessel 5 times larger than any other in the fleet. "They're scanning for us," reported the sensor officer. "But our stealth systems are holding." Park touched a small communicator on her wrist. "All ships, maintain position. Wait for my signal." No one on the Imperial ships detected this transmission. No one saw the subtle distortions in space at 6 strategic points around their formation. The Emperor's trap was set, but so was Park's. On the Eternal Dominion, the Emperor himself had come to witness the destruction of the notorious human vessel. He stood on a command platform elevated above his officers, his ceremonial armor gleaming with precious metals. "Fleet Lord Dahyun." The Emperor's voice was cold. "You assured me this plan would work." Dahyun bowed low. It will, Your Majesty. The humans cannot resist such a target. When the Black Star appears, it will face the combined might of your Imperial fleet. For your sake, I hope you are correct, the Emperor said. Your recent failures have tested my patience. As if summoned by their conversation, alarms blared across the Imperial bridge. Contact, shouted a Takron officer. The Black Star has been detected approaching from Sector 7. All ships, prepare to engage, Dahian ordered, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. The hunt ends today. The Black Star moved with impossible grace, phasing in and out of normal space as it approached the massive Imperial formation. Its weapons remained powered down, its course steady and direct. They're surrounding us, Admiral, Hanbin reported. As expected, Park replied calmly. She opened a channel to the Imperial flagship. This is Admiral Ju Park of the Earth Defense Fleet. I wish to speak with your Emperor. After a moment's delay, the Emperor's image appeared on the main screen. His scaled face showed contempt. Human, he said. You have been a persistent annoyance. Your surrender will be accepted if you transfer your ship's technology immediately. Park smiled. I'm afraid I don't surrender. I've come to offer you the chance to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. The Emperor laughed, a harsh sound. You are one ship against hundreds. Your bravery is admirable but misplaced. Am I just one ship? Park asked. She nodded to her communications officer. Signal the fleet. Suddenly, space rippled around the Imperial formation. 6 massive distortions appeared, and from each emerged a ship identical to the Black Star. Then another, and another. Within moments, 37 Black Star-class vessels had appeared, surrounding the Imperial fleet in a formation of their own. On the Eternal Dominion's bridge, stunned silence fell. Impossible, Dahian whispered. Our intelligence said they had only one vessel. Your intelligence was incomplete, Park's voice replied over the still-open channel. The original Black Star was a prototype. While you chased me across the galaxy, Earth completed its fleet. The Emperor's composure cracked. This changes nothing. My ships still outnumber yours. Numbers aren't everything, Park replied, as Fleet Lord Dahian has learned repeatedly. But there's something else you should know. The tactical display updated, showing dozens of smaller ships emerging from behind moons and asteroids throughout the system. Ships of various designs, from multiple alien worlds. The Viridians, the Creveri, the Lumen, Park continued. All the species you conquered and oppressed over centuries. They've joined us. Rebellion, the Emperor hissed. Liberation, Park corrected. Your empire was built on the assumption that divided species could never stand against you. That assumption was wrong. For a tense moment, the two fleets faced each other in silence. Park knew that despite their technological advantage, a full battle would result in massive casualties on both sides. You have a choice, Emperor, Park said. We can fight here today, and regardless of who wins, thousands will die. Or we can forge a new path forward. After what seemed like an eternity, the Emperor spoke. What terms do you propose? 3 months later, representatives from 27 species gathered on Earth for the signing of the Galactic Concordat. The agreement dissolved the Takron Empire and established a new interstellar council where all spacefaring races would have equal representation. Admiral Park stood at the ceremony, watching as the former emperor signed the document alongside human leaders and representatives from formerly subjugated worlds. Did you ever think we'd see this day? Lieutenant Hanbin asked, standing beside her. I hoped, Park replied. The Black Star was never meant to conquer. It was designed to change the equation, to show that technological innovation could overcome even the most entrenched power. And to inspire others, Hanbin added, looking at the diverse gathering. Park nodded. The ship served its purpose. Now the real work begins. As the ceremony concluded, Park stepped outside into the sunlight. In orbit above, visible as bright stars in the daytime sky, the Black Star fleet maintained its watch, not as weapons of war, but as guardians of a fragile new peace. The U.S. Black Star itself had been transformed from a nightmare that haunted an emperor's dreams into a symbol of what determination and ingenuity could accomplish. And Admiral Juupark, once a young girl who had lost everything to an imperial pacification, had found a different path to justice than the revenge she once sought. Not the destruction of an enemy, but the creation of something better to replace what had been broken.